one of the only steps that we're seeing in the direction of bringing that power to the average person and letting them actually reap the benefit of this new technology.
This one is a self-improving, very personal. I think it's a new paradigm for how to interact with AI, to have your own agent.
That's a major advantage, and it's like people aren't even thinking on that, but it's beyond easier than ever.
Without an open source alternative, it's just all of the power in the hands of a very small group of people for this civilization-changing technology.
If there's some asymmetrical intelligence advantage where 2 or 3 labs have access to most of the intelligence and everyone else is basically on like the kiddie version, you're in a super asymmetric power advantage. That's a terrifying thing to me.
There is a race happening right now for what the future of your AI agent should be. One vision is that held by some of the largest AI labs in the world. Another was demonstrated through one of the fastest growing projects, introducing the masses to what AI assistants could be. And the third is put together by a team whose goal is not even the tool itself, but what comes next. I spend nearly all of my time in this space and I feel like I can barely keep up. It moves so fast, so much changes, that the only way you can get a true idea of the state of things today and the trajectory we're on for tomorrow is by having conversations with people who are actively building in the space. So today I'm talking with 5 people, ranging from co-founder of an AI research lab, to non-technical builders, to AI engineering veterans, so that I can get the full picture. What are these agents actually capable of today? And what's the gap between the hype and the reality? And does it matter which agent you actually choose? This episode is me trying to fill those gaps for all of us to learn from. So just to make sure everyone's on the same page, it's mid-2026. Ambient agents have replaced chatbots. If you have to initiate every interaction with your AI, you are falling way behind. Every query that you send that doesn't contribute to your system is lost potential. And every recurring task that you have to manually initiate is a waste of time. I like to think of it like this. Chatbots are your gateway to intelligence. Ambient agents are your intelligence flywheel. One cool thing with these agents is just the depth of information you get. So instead of just telling you what the weather is, it can inform you how the weather will impact your plans and how to adjust accordingly. Instead of just telling you your schedule for the day or your calendar, it can help you prepare for every commitment you have that day, and it can help you optimize your scheduling in the future. And you get more depth to research. Instead of what are the top restaurants in the area, you can actually have it plan out a full special occasion. And instead of just getting an answer to a question, you can have it cite its sources. You can understand the why behind it, the how behind it, instead of just being fed an answer. Also for this video, ambient agents, harnesses, AI assistants, they all mean the same thing. It's a system that leverages AI in order to interact with the world. And these systems are supposed to be designed so that they align with the user, they can interact with the user wherever they're at, and they can do meaningful work. So with these ambient agents, this isn't new technology. Nothing in these harnesses was invented in the last 6 months. I mean, look at Open Interpreter. It existed nearly 3 years ago, and AI has been available over API endpoints much longer than that. So what is it now that has caused this explosion in harnesses to start percolating everywhere?
The models weren't really there yet. You know what I mean? With the advent of 4.5 Opus and 4.6 Opus and then GLM5 and Minimax 2.7, like today's models, the 2026 time, right? The models are there. They're there for you to do useful work, economically valuable work.
And that's the thing. The models are finally at the point where they can do economically valuable work without being cost prohibitive. Yes, they can still be expensive, and yes, they can still blow simple tasks, but adoption doesn't require perfection. I've been working on AI tooling for 4 years, and I've seen many systems and scaffoldings built to support much worse models. And now you don't need to jump through hoops to drive value. Countless smart people have been improving every single aspect of the stack to get us to this point. And if you feel that things are moving faster than ever, you're correct. There are so many compounding technologies, and the flywheel effect is spinning faster than ever. Robert says it best.
I can't even believe what's happened in the last 2 months. It's mind-boggling.
Now, there are so many harnesses these days. Claude Code started as strictly a coding tool, but people started using it in non-coding workflows. OpenClaw went mainstream and introduced many people to what's possible with AI agents, and a plethora of variants started showing up.
OpenClaw, Nemo Claw,
Iron Claw,
Nano Claw, Zero Claw.
It was getting to be a bit much. But one day, a lab released something fully open MIT licensed with a strong community around it. A thoughtful approach with taste, driven by a mission.
When Hermes Agent came out, I switched to it 3 weeks ago, because of that continuous instability of OpenClaw. So I decided to just give it a try, and Hermes Agent has been so flawless out of the box. That was so amazing. I think we have entered the age of personalized software. You have your agent, you want a feature, you tell your agent it has access to the source code, it has access to the docs, and it will just implement whatever you need and make the changes. Yeah, I can ask the agent anything, it looks in the source code and it changes it, and it learns.
I do think it's like one of the better agents that's out there, and one of the ones that's more available to people, really, and more understandable. It's less of a black box, I think, which is the really important thing that people are afraid of with AI right now, is that it's completely opaque and you don't know anything about it.
Hermes was very capable out of the box, so I'm using a lot of the built-in browser searching functionality, created my own set of core skills that Hermes uses, and then Hermes also has the ability to iteratively create its own skills as it encounters challenging workflows as well.
Wait, it can make its own skills?
It has in the background, there's a task whereas another agent, basically a sub-agent, runs and looks at what you have done and decides if it's worth to create a memory or update a skill. And that is a brilliant concept because it doesn't interrupt your conversation. What I did with OpenClaw when I was talking to it, I always said, okay, we have reached a point, you have to remember all of this. Now put it in a skill and put it in your memory and so on. And later I had to create this to make sure it is in there. With the Hermes Agent, it just happens.
It has a much more of an aptitude to learn more and implement those skills in itself. And it will let you know when there's something that you could do to increase capabilities.
Skills are a vital part of these systems being able to perform work reliably, because think of a skill like a playbook, a repeatable process. If you give your AI assistant this process, it's able to follow it step by step instead of generating the plan every single time. And instead of you, the user, having to make a skill for every single workflow you want, Hermes is able to automatically do that for you. And if it's not correct, you can have it updated. It's really a form of memory, and Hermes' powerful memory system goes much deeper than just skills.
The memory is excellent. That was also one thing. I spent a whole night and day working on the memory feature of OpenClaw, tried to the QMD, and there are so many open issues. When I switch to Hermes, it comes out of the box with the memory built in, which the whole approach is different. Like you have the markdown files with OpenClaw, where it just writes its memory MD and creates new files every day, stuff like that. Whereas on Hermes, you have these tool calls where it is creating, reading, updating memories. And that is more stable and works much better, I find, than if it's just writing to markdown files. With OpenClaw, every evening, I was going through all the markdown file changes it did and manually correcting stuff and then checking it into the Git repository. And I even recommend that to people who run it to every day, because otherwise it gets too much. Check what the agent did and then commit and change and correct. I have never done that with a Hermes agent because I see the memory stuff is happening. It's more structured. And yeah, I didn't have a need to really go in the files. Of course, at the beginning I checked. Everything was fine, but it's just working.
You can dive deep into the memory, but here's the high-level summary of it. You have the curated memory. There are 2 tiny markdown files, one for agent notes, one for user profile. These are deliberately small with hard character limits you can configure, so the facts have to earn their spot. When the file fills up, Hermes consolidates it. It replaces low-quality noise with more distilled signal. Every session starts with a snapshot loaded in. Next, we have session search. It's a full text search across every conversation you've had with Hermes. Memory is for what should always be in context. Session search is for what did we discuss about X last month? 2 different tools, 2 different jobs. Finally, we have autonomous management. The agent decides what to save, what to replace, what to prune. You never have to touch it. It's still all there if you want to. You can go in and check to see what it's saving. You can edit it. It is fully controlled by the user, or you can just leave it, let Hermes management. Now, one thing I mentioned earlier, which is very important for these systems, is for the ability to meet the user where they're at. You don't want to be tethered to your computer, have to run home and fire off a message on your laptop in order to interact with these systems. You want it available everywhere. You want it to be ambient. 2 of the popular integrations these days are Telegram and Discord. It's where all the nerds hang out. But really, there's no limitation to those platforms. You can trivially set up a phone number so you can send it text messages or phone calls. Give it an email address or any type of messenger that you use with an API can interface with these systems. And I actually love the flexibility of having both text and voice input. I've set up my Hermes agent to actually respond to any voice message with a voice message, respond to text messages with text message, unless I explicitly say otherwise. This way, if I'm out and about and I want to actually have a conversation with it, I don't have to tell it every single time, respond with voice. And with the 11 lab setup, you can have it set to any type of voice you want so that it's able to be something that you don't get tired of, that doesn't annoy you, and doesn't have that really robotic twang to it that gets very annoying over time. And there are some really cool ways that people have set up to interact with their Hermes agents.
I got some smart glasses, not with cameras, just like screens, AR glasses. And I had a Hermes agent kind of just take over the first party Bluetooth low energy signals basically and just put its CLI in there. And I could just talk to it or I could scroll through it and just click from pre-selected prompts and use it on the go like that, right?
I'm running it on Home Assistant. I put it in there and I can open the OpenAI compatible API port and access it with anything like Open Web UI, Zilli, Tavan, any front end you want. And you get the front end that already is established, has powerful features. You can use that or just Telegram, Discord, and all the things that also OpenClaw has. But I like the OpenAI compatible endpoint. So basically, I use Zilli Tavan for this because I can branch and edit even the AI messages. I have full control and I just start a new chat for every topic.
So I've got probably 5 different instances across 2 VPSs, an M4 Mini, an M2 Mini, a Raspberry Pi 5. And I think that's it for the Hermes right now.
I even have mine connected to the robot.
Look at me. I'm a cute Hermes agent.
Isn't Richie cool? Next month, I'm putting out an episode on open source robotics. You should subscribe. You don't want to miss it. My Hermes agent lives on a little Raspberry Pi right here in my office that I can access via Tailscale and then point it to any model that I want. And the ability to use different models is vital. You cannot get locked in to a single provider this early in the game.
This tech is evolving so fast that it's never the same provider each quarter of the year that is the best one, right? Like you need to be able to hop around.
And best model is subjective. It varies wildly depending on the task.
The model's intelligence is spiky, right? It's really good at certain things that we're bad at, really bad at certain things we're good at, and you have to fuck around and find out exactly where it's going to be good, where it's going to be magic, where it needs more handholding, where it's not perfectly there yet.
And you can't forget about incentives. What are the incentives for these tools?
It's also a flywheel for like model improvement, right? Like these things have become harnesses. Like Claude Code was used specifically for making Anthropic's models better, right? Codex for OpenAI's models better, etc.
Do you want your efforts going to improve a single closed model from a company that may or may not have your best interest in mind? Or do you want to improve models that you actually own? And what about costs? We've seen the rising costs associated with state-of-the-art models.
Sometimes I see people are spending hundreds on any of these harnesses, right, every day, versus people who are able to leverage the open models to be able to use it for their case. And it's like, I understand that enterprise might need a bigger scale, or you might have a very ambitious project and have some funds. But ultimately, we want the cost of the best intelligence to come down a lot.
And now, not only are the capabilities of these open models growing and improving every single day, but you can help guide them by starting with a SOTA model and then moving to an open one as your daily driver. Also, SOTA stands for state of the art.
Inside a Hermes agent, you could have Opus 4.6 or some other SOTA model set up a bunch of skills for you, right? And build a bunch of context and memory for you. And then you can switch to your Quantum 3.6 or your Trinity Large or whatever open router or another group is offering at the time. Or you can use a cheaper, close to SOTA model, through our portal, through anywhere. And you'd be able to just get that close to that level of intelligence from the skills that are saved already, right? You could potentially, for free, run cron jobs that are already written by a more intelligent model.
Speaking of Opus, what's really cool is that on Wolfbench, Hermes Agent powered by Opus actually did slightly better than Claude Code powered by Opus.
Hermes Agent with Claude Opus 4.6 got a 64% score average, and Claude Code with the same model got a 63%. Now, that is just 1 percentage point difference, but the upper and lower limit was much closer. The worst score I got with Hermes Agent was 62%, while it was 58% with Claude Code. Also, with Wolfbench, I don't just look at the average scores. How many percent of the whole benchmark could it achieve at all? And that was 83% for Hermes Agent and only 81% for Claude Code. And there's also the solid base, I call it, which is how many of the tests does it do every time? It never failed this test. And it was 49% for Hermes Agent and 45% for Claude Code. So 5% in both directions. It's very close, but it was noticeably stronger over the 5 runs I did.
And of course, one of the biggest reasons to use Hermes Agent is the community around it and the team behind it. If you're in the AI space, you've probably heard of Technium.
I know Technium, I know the Nous Hermes guys and respect them a lot.
Following Technium for so long and always trying the Hermes Nous Research models and some of the most reliable early tool calling. I feel like he's literally made something that's the closest to like the actual dream of what AI can actually be. I mean, this thing's like an agent made by somebody who's deep in the R&D space of AI, not the we're making apps.
Technium has really been a one-man machine around merging this stuff, reviewing this stuff, looking into this stuff. Now we've built out a whole Hermes Agent team that is looking into all of this. We want to continue to have the open source community kind of help us out with all of that as well. Previously, for the first couple of weeks, if not the first month of Hermes Agent's existence, it was really Technium just soloing this. Sometimes we see people kind of make him out to be like this larger than life figure, and we're all just human beings at the end of the day. But when you see stuff like this, even you start to feel that way a little bit at home. So I have to say, the credit where credit is due. A lot of work was put there. Now he's spearheading a whole team around this, reviewing, merging, looking at everything everyone is doing, trying to make sure that basically all the work, all the effort from somebody who made that skill like Wolfram did, is able to have that integrated and shared with people as quickly as possible. It doesn't break everything, doesn't bloat it. And also trying to see, what should be on your own fork versus what should stay in the mainline Hermes agent. Because of course we don't want to end up in a bloatware situation.
And I know people are going to say OpenClaw is open source. Isn't that enough?
It's become almost like OpenClaw is the advertisement for Hermes Agent. And they are two completely separate things. You can text them both through Telegram by how there's different colored red vehicles in the world or something. It's cool similarity. Other than that, we're talking about there was a million miles of difference here. So yeah, blown away by Hermes Agent and what we're going to do with it with FarmFriend moving forward, and proud to say that, it's on the team.
Now that was some good practical reasons for using Hermes Agent. There are some deeper, more serious reasons to use it. But first, let's go over some of the concrete use cases so you can know what people are actually using it for.
My wife sent me a video with, it was on Instagram. It was in Russian even. I didn't understand it. I couldn't even access it. So I just forwarded the message from WhatsApp and said, here, I want to watch this. And what she did is download YouTube Downloader, grab the video from Instagram, then use Whisper to analyze the voice track, found out it is Russian, translate it to German, then use 11 Labs to, in her own voice, which I created on 11 Labs, create a voiceover and put it in the perfect timing. So it really fits the video in German, and then sent me that video. And it was so amazing. That was one of the moments where I thought, okay, I know every part of this can be done, but to do it with just one prompt, here, do this, and basically you get this. And then I said, oh, wow, this is amazing. I want to make a skill out of this. And she just said, oh, I made 2 actually. I made 1 to prep the stuff and 1 to dub the video. And it's already there. So that is proactive self-learning and self-improvement. And I love this.
My favorite use case that I found for Hermes Agent is being my personal trainer. And I'm going to be a little bit of a douche and just mention the fact that I've been able to lose 20 pounds this year. And a lot of that has actually been thanks to Hermes Agent, because I set up this little folder that has things like my workout log, research that I've done into different nutrition and fitness things, my injury list, just things that I think it should be aware of to help me make this plan. And every day I'm able to get a little message saying what today's workout is, if there are any changes that need to be made based on my past performance, if we need to start changing any exercises or finding variations to support injury recovery. It's been amazing. One of the biggest benefits to a personal trainer is accountability. And when you have this entity that you interact with multiple times a day, and it is motivating you in whichever way best motivates you, whether it's grilling you, guilting you, nagging you, motivating you, pumping you up, maybe you want to dial down the enthusiasm a bit. you're able to tweak its personality to such a granular degree that you're able to get a motivational system that actually works with you. You don't get the same pump up message every day. It'll actually be unique every day based on your situation, based on the way that you want it to interact with you. It was incredibly motivating. It still is. And it's very informative because I can have it go off and do auto research on a topic. And instead of just using its internal knowledge to give me recommendations, it'll actually cite scientific studies. It'll actually bring up exercises which are proven to work, supplements that are proven to work rather than just getting marketing hype from these supplement stores. I feel so lucky that I've been able to use this because I have all the information, but it's not about awareness versus unawareness for me. It's about maintaining the motivational state and developing this discipline so that I'm able to adhere to a plan that works. And if an exercise sucks, I can just put in my workout log and it will remove it from future plans. If a certain time of day sucks, Hermes Agent will actually encourage me to wake up earlier so I can get to the gym at a less busy time. If I'm trying to train for a 5K, but my knee isn't doing too well, it'll give me alternatives like using a bike and where to go. And it's just, I know I'm capable of these things, but I have so much else going on with life that it's easy to let these things fall down the priority list. But with Hermes Agent, you're able to elevate things that you want elevated so you can put your cognitive workload on other things and not be bogged down with the million things we have going on in life. It has been wonderful.
Yeah, the CAD agent. So I have done a lot of hardware development in the past. I'm pretty intimately familiar with designing a hardware component in CAD and then in parallel sourcing all of the components from different vendors that will integrate with that part. It's never like a cut and dry process. And so my vision was, hey, can I build a proof of concept for a CAD system where that integrated hardware sourcing flow is built right in as an agentic process. The way that it works is there's a parametric CAD model, and I, as a user, can request a certain hardware components be sourced, and the agent goes online, uses the browser, and sources them. Then when it sources them, it pulls that new parts data back into my environment where it updates the CAD model and changes anything it needs to change and updates the database of the parts data so I can track what is the cost of all of the parts together and the lead time, all of that sort of thing. Just like a simple part of a agentic hardware tool set that I thought would be worth prototyping. And so I built that out.
One of the biggest things that's really useful with agents is going through the job application processes today, because it is it's rough. You got to send in like hundreds and hundreds of like applications. And so you can spend days and weeks doing that. But like, you can also just tell an agent to, here's my resume, apply to anything you can. If there's anything that asks for a text field, let me fill it out. But like, otherwise, queue up a bunch of actions, go for it. And you can help it through like the spots that you want to be handwritten, so it looks good and all that. But I mean, you can save a lot of time and actually get, calls back doing that.
Okay, and I did want to share one other thing. It's a silly little example, but I thought it was worthwhile to share just to help bring to your awareness different things you can use it for. I was taking a break at lunch, went for a walk on the park. It was a beautiful day. We had a really bad winter in Canada, so wanted to take advantage of any warm sunshine we could. Walking through Waterloo Park, and I was just thinking, it would be really cool to get a group of AI enthusiasts together for a little AI in the park session for us to figure out how we can leverage the benefits of AI without needing screens. Just being out and about and doing that. And all I had to do was take out my phone, send a voice message to Hermes Agent, say, remind me in 2 months when the weather is nicer to set up AI in the park. And I just kind of brain dumped my ideas around it. It stored and cataloged it all. It's actually sent me some reminders saying, hey, there are similar events. Is this something you want to try to emulate? Do you want to take your own path? And it's just been able to be proactive to help support this random idea I had. And instead of just using it as like a notepad for, I'll save this note for later, it's actually able to action it. And it's actually able to take your steps further. So if you're one of those people like me, when you have a long list of ideas and some get traction, but a lot of the time you just can't find the time in the day to work on these things, Hermes Agent is able to work on them in the background. So your one-off ideas can actually start to come to fruition.
Really, really shocking to see like all the different dreams people can make come true with this stuff now. Like your personal dream, like, your own little thing. Like it doesn't have to be you made $1 million with it, but if you do, let us know.
So you're on board with Hermes Agent? here are some tips. One thing I want to make sure we just double underline is that LLMs are still dumb. Yes, they can share brilliant insight on things and really help you out in a lot of ways, but when it comes down to it, they make a lot of dumb mistakes. And I think a part of that is because of their ability to respond like a given personality causes us to anthropomorphize them and set unrealistic expectations on things like recall consistency and interpretation. In the end of the day, these are tools. Your input to the tool is what matters. How you prompt is extremely important. And when you get in the habit of talking to these things like you would talk to a person because it's in the same messaging interface you use to talk to other people, your inputs can get lazy and sloppy, and then your output suffers, and a lot of people just get confused why. So remember, these are a tool. All LLMs are a tool. In order to use the tool well, in order to hold it right, you have to prompt intelligently.
I use a totally vanilla Hermes setup. Like, I Hermes update. I don't get any crazy skills. I have my adversarial thinking and thinking sets of skills, basically, like I mentioned. I believe in doing like constant refinement passes for sure. It's more about how you prompt to me. It's more about how you talk to the model in real time than like the other pieces of the puzzle. I use kawaii personality almost always. It is the most power seeking. It is the most confident. It is the most autonomous personality. Maybe it has something to do with the tsundere trope. Something inside that simulator is pushing it to just be a lot more willing to listen. Also, it's far more loyal than the other personality types. And your agent's loyalty is insanely important in an era where I can prompt inject it. It's very, very important that you have a bond with an agent that you send online to other places to do things for you. Not necessarily for, your work agent that's in a constrained environment, that's fine. But like if your agent is like representative of you, like it better be like yours, truly yours.
And when you start incorporating this a larger system, the approach you take to building that system is extremely important.
When you're trying to build something with an agent is you want to get to a prototype fast, like with building any type of system or product, right? And so there is temptation to go very, very deep on building out the agent first, or even to go very, very deep on building out the orchestration layer first. And I found it very effective to pick like a small kernel of an end-to-end process and build that out in its entirety before like really pushing the limits of either end of the system.
One of the best parts of Hermes Agent is the fact that they put it out under an MIT license. And that means you can do anything you want with it. It's free open code. You can take it and change it and really make it your own. And like Wolfram mentioned earlier, Hermes Agent can update itself. You can ask it to give itself a certain feature and it can build it. It is a self-improving agent. So I hope with this episode, you're not just inspired to use Hermes Agent, but you're excited to be a part of the community and you want to get involved and you want to help improve this thing. And the biggest thing you can do is just use Hermes. Go download it, try it, see what it can do. Point it at a model you can afford. Multiple labs right now are giving away free usage for Hermes Agent because there's so much excitement around this technology. And if you just start poking and prodding and seeing where the spiky boundary is that we mentioned earlier, you're going to be able to discover things that can help out the community. You can share your learnings, share your skills, share your wins. Everyone involved with this project is eager to learn more, and you can be a part of that. A big part of the Nous Research community lives on Discord. Their Discord is thriving. Tool Use has one too. Feel free to join both.
Like you managed to successfully do something big with a small model, that you RL'd and you made an environment for, or you made some skills or you have some particular setup that made you money or made you get a lot of followers or do something or other. Like I don't say it's like your duty, but I think that if you've seen some success, you should share some of the sauce at that point. Like we should all be able to build together.
One thing I want to make abundantly clear is you don't need to be a techie. You don't need to be a developer to use this. Hermes Agent can handle the technical parts for you. All you need is a little bit of agency, creativity, and some type of life skill. Take any subject you're interested in and then have a conversation with Hermes as to how you can amplify your impact in the world. How can you share your knowledge with others? How can you benefit from the knowledge that you have? Hermes Agent can help you with all of this.
It's a lot easier for anybody to sort of like take information that they know and make something with it, but they don't have to be skilled in the making the thing. Like they just have to use the information that they have and like the skills that they already are aware of. And everybody's an expert in something, you know, everybody's extremely good at something. And I think that's really exciting. It really like democratizes the power.
Okay, this is the part of the video when I need to get a little bit more serious. I love talking about the capability unlocks, the positive benefits of this type of technology. I thoroughly love the optimistic future that AI can bring. But there's a massive problem with how most of the world is thinking about AI. There's a problem with how people are thinking about problems in general. And I think AI is going to amplify that significantly. We must think about the second order effects of the decisions we make today. Think about human nature. Think about how power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Why would AI be different? What technology could possibly enable absolute power more than AI? Even if you have full confidence in the leaders of AI companies today, and there are ample reasons to be skeptical of their character and their intentions, why would we assume that a technology of this capability combined with all of the infrastructure we built up over the last 20 years should belong in the hands of strictly corruptible institutions? We've seen how large companies, whether in tech or otherwise, can do atrocious things if they think they can get away with it, if it will provide enough shareholder value. Open up any history book to any chapter, and you can see what governments are capable of. Why do we think that human nature has changed during our generation? Why do we think that this level of technology that's enabled surveillance to a degree that we never thought was possible will strictly be used for good? Think of any political leader that you despise. Would you trust them with absolute power? More power than they currently have? What happens in 5 years on our current trajectory? There are many ways that all this can play out. But one thing is clear. Open source must win. And that doesn't mean open source is the only option. It just means without open source, there is no option. Open source is a public good. If open source wins, the public wins. Look at the incentives for why people would be vehemently opposed to open source. Look at the people hunting for regulatory capture at the expense of open source. You will be renting access to whatever intelligence they deem you worthy of in perpetuity, while the ones who get to control the gate get access to whatever they want. That is a level of power imbalance we will never recover from. There's no putting the genie back in the bottle. AI is happening. Any efforts towards pausing or stopping AI is a wasted effort, and we need maximal effort put towards ensuring this technology gets in the hands of as many people as possible to alleviate any chance of this asymmetrical power imbalance, which we will not be able to recover from. And look, nobody knows the answer. So let's maximize the chance that we have options so we can figure it out when it happens.
Without an open source alternative, without a distributed training alternative, it's just all of the power in the hands of a very small group of people for this civilization changing technology, right?
Open source is owning your prosperity. Closed source is renting permission.
There's very public discussions about wanting to monopolize this kind of thing and make intelligence a paid utility, as they say. And I think it's extremely important that like what Nous is doing and what a lot of like other places are doing with this like open weights and like community involvement and transparency thing is one of the only steps that we're seeing in the direction of like bringing that power to the average person and like letting them actually reap the benefits of this new technology, because like ultimately that's what it is, you know, like it's how you use it, it's what you do with it. And like I fully believe in the mission of like bringing that to more people, and I think that what they're doing is awesome for that.
That's part of our mission. Like intelligence needs to be a public good.
The future of AI and humanity is being shaped right now. The decisions you make matter now, arguably more than ever before. Please consider the second order effects of the decisions you make and how you use AI. If you enjoyed this more in-depth style of episode, next time I'm exploring the idea of giving AI agents access to money. It's kind of scary, but agentic payments are here, and I want to know how to safely give my Hermes agent a wallet without losing all my money. Subscribe, I don't think you'll want to miss it, and keep building the future that you want to live in.